Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome to Islamic Insights. Today, we embark on a journey to understand and reflect on recent events that are happening in Saudi Arabia that present both challenges and thought-provoking scenarios within the Muslim community. The construction of a Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. The recent opening of a vast Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, marks a significant moment not just in terms of architectural achievement, but also in the blending of cultural and religious diplomacy. The temple, which invited the Prime Minister of India alongside numerous officials from various Arab states, stands as a testament to the UAE's commitment to multiculturalism and interfaith tolerance. This event, however, has elicited mixed reactions from the Muslim community, ranging from acceptance of religious pluralism to feelings of unease about the prominent celebration of other faiths in a predominantly Muslim region. The construction of this temple can be seen as part of a broader strategy by the UAE to position itself as a cosmopolitan hub that welcomes diverse populations, including a large number of Indian expatriates. The presence of high-ranking officials from both India and the Arab states at the opening ceremony highlighted the diplomatic efforts to strengthen bilateral ties through cultural exchange. Yet this development has left many Muslims feeling conflicted. The question arises about the balance between embracing diversity and maintaining the Islamic identity of the region. As we reflect on this, it is crucial to consider the teachings of Islam regarding coexistence and respect for other religions. The Quran and Hadith provide numerous references that encourage peaceful cohabitation and respect for other faiths. However, the visibility of such a large non-Islamic religious symbol in a region known for its Islamic heritage prompts a deeper examination of our collective responses to globalization and its impact on our religious spaces. The golden statue of Mohammed bin Salman. Another development that has captured the attention of the Muslim world is the unveiling of a golden statue of Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. This statue, intended to be placed at significant sites throughout the kingdom, has sparked a considerable debate about the role of imagery and symbols in Islam. The decision to erect a golden statue of a living leader is unprecedented in the recent history of Saudi Arabia, a country that is the custodian of the two holiest sites in Islam. This act has raised profound questions about the potential shift toward practices that are traditionally considered contrary to the core Islamic tenet of aniconism, the prohibition of creating images of sentient beings. The implications of such a statue are manifold, especially in the context of Saudi Arabia, where the Islamic principles of modesty and iconoclasm have long influenced national and cultural identity. Critics argue that the statue could be seen as a form of idolatry, a practice explicitly denounced in Islam. Supporters might view it as a mere cultural or artistic representation without religious implications. Historically, Islam emerged in a context where idolatry was rampant, and the Prophet Muhammad's efforts were significantly geared towards eradicating idols and establishing monotheism. The introduction of a leader's statue in such a historically significant Islamic land is a poignant reminder of the old challenges faced by early Muslims, prompting contemporary society to reassess the boundaries of cultural expression and religious adherence. Both of these developments, the construction of the Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi and the golden statue in Saudi Arabia, serve as critical points of reflection for the Muslim Ummah. They challenge us to think about how we engage with modernity, interpret our religious texts in contemporary times, and maintain our religious identity while navigating the complexities of an increasingly interconnected world. As we continue this series, we will delve deeper into these issues, seeking insights from religious texts, scholars, and the community to guide our understanding and responses. Join us as we explore these pivotal moments in our faith and consider what they mean for the future of Islam in a rapidly changing world. Historical echoes and modern shifts. The lineage between the prophets Adam and Noah marks a crucial era in Islamic teachings, highlighting a time when monotheism was the clear-cut form of worship, and the longevity of prophets like Noah, who preached for 950 years, underscored the enduring patience and perseverance required to maintain faith among humanity. This historical backdrop is pivotal in understanding the shifts we observe in the contemporary Muslim community, especially as these shifts reflect broader socio-cultural changes. As history progressed from the time of Adam to Noah, Islamic teachings recount how humanity began to stray from the path of pure monotheism. This gradual departure is mirrored today in the ways modern Muslim societies grapple with external cultural influences and internal ideological diversities. The construction of religious structures from other faiths in predominantly Muslim lands and the erection of statues that could be perceived as idolatrous are not just isolated events but are indicative of deeper societal transformations. These transformations are influenced by globalization, migration, and a more interconnected world where ideas and beliefs are exchanged more freely than ever before. The challenge for today's Muslim communities lies in navigating these changes while staying true to the core tenets of Islam. This involves a deep engagement with the Quran and Sunnah to discern the nuanced teachings that govern interactions with non-Muslim cultures and the adoption of new practices that may conflict with traditional Islamic values. Understanding these historical echoes helps contextualize the modern shifts in Islamic practice and societal norms. It provides a lens through which we can view contemporary issues not as isolated phenomena but as part of a continuum of Islamic history, where adaptation and preservation have always been in tension. Reflecting on this can empower the community to make informed decisions that honor our heritage while engaging constructively with the modern world. The rise of idolatry. The historical account of the rise of idolatry in Islam begins shortly before the time of Prophet Noah, a period when 5 righteous men who were widely respected for their piety and devotion passed away. As these men were deeply revered, Satan seized this opportunity to mislead humanity by suggesting the creation of statues in their likeness to honor their memory. Initially, these statues were meant merely to serve as reminders of the men's virtues, intended to inspire continued devotion to God. However, as generations passed and the original intent faded from memory, these images shifted from being mere reminders to objects of worship themselves. This transition from reverence to idolatry is crucial in understanding the Islamic prohibition against creating images of sentient beings. Islam's strict stance against idolatry is rooted in its core objective to worship Allah alone, without intermediaries or physical representations. This principle is designed to prevent the very misstep that occurred historically, where objects intended to inspire piety became idols themselves. Today, the introduction of any form of imagery that could be perceived as an object of reverence, such as the golden statue of a current leader, raises significant concerns within the Muslim community. It reflects a potential forgetting of the painful lessons of history, where what begins as symbolic respect can evolve into something that contravenes the fundamental Islamic prohibition against idolatry. The community's reaction to such developments is not just about the object itself, but about what it represents, a possible drift towards the very practices that early Islam sought to eradicate. This chapter, then, is not only a recounting of a historical lesson, but also a warning and a call to vigilance for the Muslim community today. It invites us to reflect on how we honor our leaders and our past, without stepping over the theological boundaries set by our faith. It challenges us to consider the implications of our actions, not only for our time, but for future generations, who may look to our examples as they navigate their own interpretations of faith and practice. By understanding these pivotal historical and contemporary issues, we are better equipped to uphold the integrity of our faith amidst the complexities of modern influences and cultural exchanges. Revisiting the Prophet's warnings. Prophet Muhammad's foresight into the future challenges of Islam is deeply embedded within his teachings. His hadiths often spoke of Islam returning to a state of being perceived as strange, much like it was during its inception. This prophecy is particularly poignant today, as the Muslim community finds itself at a crossroads between historical traditions and modern societal changes. The Prophet warned that Islam would revert to its old position of being strange, a concept that has profound implications in a world where global cultures increasingly intermingle. This strangeness is not merely about societal perceptions, but touches on the core of Islamic identity and practice. It suggests a future where Muslims may feel alienated within their own communities or misunderstood by the societies they live in. The feeling of alienation can be exacerbated by the rapid secularization of societies, the dilution of traditional values, and the rise of ideologies that conflict with Islamic principles. This prophecy serves as a reminder for Muslims to hold steadfast to their beliefs and values, even when they might seem out of step with mainstream cultural trends. The Prophet's warnings extend beyond the metaphysical to address tangible changes within the community. He predicted that times would come when the community would witness leaders who might lead them away from the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah. Such misguidance could manifest in various forms, including the adoption of practices antithetical to Islam's core teachings, such as the erection of statues or the endorsement of idolatrous behaviors that the community might unknowingly begin to accept. Understanding these warnings is crucial for the contemporary Muslim community as it navigates challenges of integration, identity, and faith. It encourages a proactive approach to education and dialogue within the community to ensure that the essence of Islamic teachings is not lost in the noise of modern life, but is instead reaffirmed and revitalized. Cultural transformation in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's recent cultural transformations under the leadership of Mohammed bin Salman have sparked significant discourse on the balance between modernization and religious tradition. The Crown Prince's vision for the country includes substantial social and economic reforms aimed at reducing Saudi Arabia's dependence on oil and diversifying its economy, a plan known as Vision 2030. Part of this vision involves liberalizing certain aspects of Saudi society, including lifting bans on public concerts and cinemas and allowing women to drive. These changes, while celebrated as steps toward modernization and economic development, also raise questions about the potential secularization of Saudi society. This concern is compounded by the introduction of Western cultural influences, such as Hollywood celebrities and entertainment industries, into the kingdom. Such moves are seen by some as a pivot away from the conservative Islamic values that have long characterized Saudi governance and social life. Moreover, the strategy to attract Western tourism and investments through such cultural openings is viewed by others as a double-edged sword. While it may bolster the economy and create a more open society, it also poses challenges to maintaining the religious and cultural purity as dictated by traditional Islamic principles. The introduction of events and symbols that could be perceived as contrary to Islamic teachings, like the promotion of public concerts and the erection of statues, highlights the tension between economic ambitions and religious orthodoxy. This cultural shift in Saudi Arabia is a microcosm of the broader challenges facing many Muslim-majority countries today. How they manage the interplay between preserving Islamic traditions and adapting to global changes is of critical importance. It also underscores the need for thoughtful leadership that can navigate these complex waters without compromising the foundational values of the faith. Both of these discussions, reflecting on the Prophet's warnings and observing Saudi Arabia's cultural shifts, are essential for the Muslim community worldwide. They offer insights into the dynamics of maintaining religious integrity in the face of rapid societal changes and provide a framework for how Muslims might engage with the world while staying true to their spiritual and cultural heritage. The future of the Ummah. The future of the Muslim community, or Ummah, is a topic of paramount importance and considerable debate within Islamic circles. As global forces reshape the cultural landscapes of nations, the Ummah faces the challenge of navigating these transformations while holding steadfast to the tenets of Islam. This challenge is amplified by the prophetic warnings about periods of misguidance and the allure of practices that diverge from Islamic teachings. In the face of such challenges, the Ummah must look towards a reinvigoration of faith and a deeper understanding of Islamic principles. The Prophet Muhammad's insights into the future spoke of a time when Islam would once again become strange, suggesting a disconnection between the practices of the community and the core principles it was founded upon. This prediction underscores the need for renewal, a return to the Quranic teachings and the Sunnah to ensure that the essence of Islam is not diluted. This renewal involves not only a reaffirmation of faith, but also a robust engagement with the modern world. It calls for educational reforms that include comprehensive Islamic studies, fostering a generation that is well versed in their religion and competent to deal with contemporary issues. It also involves community efforts to support one another through these changing times, ensuring that the bonds of Ummah are strengthened rather than weakened by external pressures. Moreover, the future of the Ummah hinges on its ability to articulate a vision of Islam that is inclusive, progressive, and reflective of its fundamental values of peace, justice, and compassion. This vision must address not only spiritual and moral concerns, but also socio-economic challenges, providing guidance on issues ranging from poverty and education to environmental stewardship and global peace. Calls for renewal. As we consider the future of the Ummah and the challenges it faces, the call for renewal becomes increasingly urgent. This renewal must be rooted in a comprehensive understanding of Islamic teachings and a sincere effort to apply these teachings in the context of the modern world. The calls for renewal are not just about revisiting religious texts, but also about actively engaging with these texts to extract relevant lessons for today's unique challenges. Renewal involves re-engaging with the Quran and the Hadith as living documents that offer timeless wisdom. It means looking beyond the literal interpretations to understand the deeper meanings and applications of these texts. This process requires the efforts of scholars, educators, community leaders, and lay Muslims, all working together to foster an environment where learning and discussion flourish. This renewal also means addressing the misconceptions about Islam that contribute to its perception as a strange religion. It involves outreach efforts that explain Islamic principles to non-Muslims and initiatives that encourage Muslims to live out the values of their faith openly and positively. Through such efforts, Islam can be understood not just as a religion, but as a way of life that offers solutions to global issues. Moreover, Renewal requires a critical examination of cultural practices that have become associated with Islam, but may not have a basis in its core teachings. This examination will help distinguish cultural traditions from religious obligations, allowing for a more authentic expression of Islamic identity. In conclusion, the call for renewal is a call to action for every member of the Ummah. It is an invitation to deepen our understanding of our faith, to live out its teachings with conviction and clarity, and to contribute positively to the world around us. By answering this call, we ensure that Islam remains a vibrant and vital force in addressing the spiritual and worldly needs of humanity.